Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nice to see you, dear devotees. Thank you for being here on this beautiful and auspicious occasion of the appearance day of our founder, Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Somehow it's often said by many devotees that if it wasn't for the grace of Srila Prabhupada and the Hare Krishna movement in ISKCON, probably we all wouldn't be hanging out together. Probably many of us wouldn't have found that our paths cross and we all come together, sit together, sing together, honor prasad together, do so many things together. So I'm very grateful to Srila Prabhupada that he has given me the opportunity to associate with so many wonderful and special souls from so many parts of the world. Actually, this really is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Especially here in New York, but in many places that you go, you just see that Srila Prabhupada is so attractive. My wife was just sharing earlier today, she was at Matchless Gifts, and we often comment that actually the same thing that Srila Prabhupada was doing 60 years ago, he's still doing today at Matchless Gifts. He's still attracting people in through those doors. And today she said that she was there, and there were some people, they walked by and someone was looking in like this, and when the man said, "Look, do you see that man in there?" Just looking in. And then another young lady who was no experience at all, she was looking in and she was thinking, what? And then she knocked and she came in and she said, "Is this an art gallery or something?" And I said, "No, it's kind of, well, you can come in if you like." And she came in and she gave her a tour and she was like, "Wow, this is amazing." You just see Prabhupada is just, he's attracting everyone, still attracting everybody. So we're very blessed and honored to have this opportunity to come together. Srila Prabhupada being so humble that he appeared the day after Janmashtami, which is like, everyone's like, Jai Prabhupada. It's like, Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki. It's like, Prabhupada, ki jai. So anyway, Prabhupada's so humble, it's difficult to get everyone together, but to all of you special souls who made the effort to be here, we're going to have a nice program to honor our founder Acharya. We're going to start with a Pushpanjali led by His Grace Vasudeva Prabhu. After that, we'll have some offerings. So if anyone is interested in reading an offering, then you can let me know so that I can choose you. Otherwise, you can not let me know and I'll still choose you. So either way, it's just good to be prepared. If there's no one to do it, I might ask some of you to do it. So, and after that, we'll have Gaur Arti Kirtan. And just at the same time that the deities are also being offered their dinner, then Srila Prabhupada will also have a special offering made to him on this special occasion. And then after that, we'll have some prasadam, and I think Matchless Gifts will be open until 8 this evening, so if anyone hasn't been, then it's a nice opportunity to also go by Matchless Gifts and visit Srila Prabhupada there. So I think that's it. Did I leave anything out? Kishwar, anything? Okay, so would you like to lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil?
So we can all stand up and come forward. So everybody can take a handful of petals. Maybe somebody can pass this around. Take a good handful because we offered petals 3 times. chanting the mantras, pranam mantras to Srila Prabhupada and our entire Guru Parampara, including Lord Krishna, Srila, and so on. The idea is that when we worship Srila Prabhupada today, we don't worship him on his own really. We worship him for who he is and who he represents. He represents our entire lineage, all the way going back all the way to Lord Krishna himself. So we're chanting the names of all these personalities with the idea that Srila Prabhupada is a representative of all of them, and he appeared to deliver their mercy to us. So we honor him in this way. So I'll chant all the mantras, then we'll chant Prabhupada's pranam mantras 3 times, and at the end, each time I say Isha Pushpanjali, and we'll offer flowers. साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्ब सांबोधे पदम्भोजाय ते नमः भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्द नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुग रायते गौराविर्भाव भूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जनप्रियः वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः पाञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम हृदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ मंगो मम मंद पतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदं भौज राधा मदन दिव्य वृन्दारण्य रूप माधव श्रीमद् नागर सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान् रास प्रसारम्भि शिवः कर्षन् वेणु स्मरे गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः भक्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी भानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय
Vishnupadaya
Krishna
Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Vinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Desha Pushpanjali.
Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parirajacharya Stotra is the Divine Grace. Shri Srimad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Vinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Desha Pushpanjali. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parirajacharya Stotra is the Divine Grace. Shri Srimad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Vinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Desha Pushpanjali. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. So we had a slight adjustment in the plans. So we're going to now have an arti, offer arti to Srila Prabhupada so that can do a puja. So everyone can please continue to stand and we'll offer arti and kirtan to Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise she will be translated.
Shri Guru Charan Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalam Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Kevalam Bhakti Sadma Sarving Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON and Beauty Father Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Etilita Pushya Jom Vishwanath Paramahansa Pariyakacharya Sadashi Shushrumat Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. Sachinand Bhakti Thakur Mahashaya ki. Sakshat Vairagi Murti Gauri Shuddha Babaji Maharaj ki. Ananda Koti Vaishnav ki. Ramachandra Srila Haridas Thakur ki. प्रेम से कहिए श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिका का श्याम कुंड राधा श्री गिरिराज गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा द्वारकापुरी धाम की श्री मायापुर नवदीप धाम की पुष्पेंद्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा में जमुनामय की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ षट गोस्वामी प्रभु की ISKCON वर्तमान आचार्य वृंद की ब्रह्म माधव गौरी गुरु शिष्य संप्रदाय की गोलोक प्रेमजन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की वृंदम प्रॉपर ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the Assembly all glories to the Assembly all glories to the Assembly all glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. Thank you so much.
Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Hare Krishna everyone, thank you so much for being here for this auspicious occasion, the divine appearance day of Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya. So now also welcome to His Grace Adi Purush Prabhu. Thank you for being here. So we'll begin with the offerings now. Feels a little... Can you all see Srila Prabhupada from over there? Do you think we should move everyone in a little bit closer so we can all be with? Yeah, okay. So maybe we can, everyone who's on the floor can come over to this side a little bit and you can bring your chairs and we're going to be wildly random and independent right now. So it's nice if we all come, make sure that we're directing our homages to Srila Prabhupada. I think anyone on the floor needs to come as far forward as possible so that the floor people forward and the chair people back.
Yeah, you can come straight, right on.
Okay, keep going.
Hare Krishna. Not sure if this is what's meant by musical chairs or not, but it's very musical. So can everyone see a little bit better now with Srila Prabhupada? Okay. Right. So we'd like to start with our, we're very blessed and fortunate to have in our association some, at least two of Srila Prabhupada's direct disciples with us. So that's a wonderful honor and benediction for us. Not all communities, ISKCON communities around the globe have that. So we're very blessed and honored to have both Adipurush Prabhu and Arjuna Prabhu here with us, and we'd like to ask them if they'd like to begin. I know Arjuna Prabhu had already suggested to me he would like to nominate Tulsi Prabhu to read from the Srila Prabhupada tributes. So if you'd like to come forward, Sadhu. It's nice, if you feel comfortable you can come forward and you can offer it directly to Srila Prabhupada. Standing or sitting, whatever you're comfortable.
So, yes, this is Arjuna Prabhu's offering to Srila Prabhupada on his appearance day. My dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. You are the personification of amazing grace and a true ambassador of Krishna consciousness. Your divine presence, imbued with humility, simplicity, and devotion, transformed countless lives. I offer my gratitude and respects for the profound impact you've had on my life. I bow to your lotus feet, dear Srila Prabhupada, a spiritual giant whose compassion, wisdom, and unwavering dedication to your Sri Guru have inspired and paved the way for a global movement, transcending borders and seas. At the age of 69, your divine grace traveled to the United States, braving the challenges of a new country and culture. With unrelenting passion, you shared the message of love and devotion, guiding countless souls on their spiritual journey through life's joys and tribulations. You courageously defended the principles of Dharma, challenging the materialistic and atheistic ideologies that threatened the spiritual well-being of humanity. And you willingly embrace and guide all, regardless of background or circumstance, exemplifying the universal love of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, you are a spiritual luminary who illuminated the world with the radiant light of Krishna consciousness. Your translations of the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita made the path of ancient wisdom visible for all, a testament to the transformative power of selfless love and service. You propagated these teachings of Lord Krishna, traversing the globe and confronting the materialistic tide to establish the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Your selfless efforts bore fruit as the Hare Krishna movement flourished and continues to do so with an ever-increasing global network of temples, farms, and communities, providing a spiritual home for millions. As a testament to your transformative power and visionary leadership, your followers, now spanning generations, remain committed to spreading the message of Krishna consciousness. There is one letter you wrote in 1969 which reads, quote, "Certainly my spiritual master watches me. There is no possibility of receiving perfect knowledge without approaching a self-realized spiritual master coming down in disciplic succession. The mental speculator, no matter how advanced he may be, cannot deliver the right knowledge." End quote. Even with your profound wisdom and accomplishments, you remained a humble servant of your Guru and Lord Krishna. You are a spiritual master par excellence, guiding your disciples on the path of Bhakti Yoga and helping us develop a deep connection with Lord Krishna. May your teachings encapsulated in your books and lectures continue to inspire and uplift as we strive to follow in your footsteps on the path of bhakti. And may your love, wisdom, and spiritual guidance forever be etched in our hearts, a constant source of inspiration and strength. We offer our heartfelt gratitude and reverence to you, Srila Prabhupada. Your aspiring disciple and prodigal son, Arjuna Das.
Haribol!
His Grace Arjuna Prabhu Ki.
Jai!
Tulsi Prabhu Ki.
Jai!
to ask Adi Purush Guru if he would like to say a few words, or maybe since he got his guitar out, sing a little song.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna's offering totally perfectly complete. Sometimes the auspicious offerings are about the spiritual master. And sometimes, like with Arjuna's offering, it's we're speaking to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is here, not was, is. He reasons ill who says that Vaishnavas die, but Vaishnavas live in sound, and in sound spread the holy name around. So there's a prayer. A great-great-grandfather, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, offered this prayer to his guru. So we're, they call it plagiarism. But it's appropriate for us to repeat what we've heard and to offer the same prayer. Actually, it's part of my sadhana every day. This prayer, this song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we offer it to Srila Prabhupada, and rather than a monologue, we're going to invite everyone to offer this prayer with us. It's very simple, word by word, and try to catch on to what it said. And then there's the words, the meaning, and then there's the feeling behind it. So. Gurudev, with a drop of your mercy, make this servant always abide. Grant me strength in adversity, cool my soul. It burns with pride. Okay, try to sing that one. Gurudev, with the drop of your mercy, make this servant always abide. Hang in there. Grant me strength in adversity, cool my soul. It burns with pride. We're going to do one more time with the feeling. Gurudev, with the drop of your mercy, make this servant always abide. Good. Grant me strength in adversity, cool my soul. It burns with pride. Once more, the feeling, the deep feeling. We're really calling out like a child, calling to Srila Prabhupada for our own spiritual master. Gurudev, with a drop of your mercy, make this servant always abide. Grant me strength in adversity, cool my soul. Burn with pride. Gurudev, in Krishna's creation, let me be a vessel of your peace, chanting the holy name in jubilation. Only then will all my fences see. Gurudev, in Krishna's creation, let me be a vessel of your peace, chanting the holy name in jubilation. Only then will all my fences cease. Please try to chant. Gurudev, in Krishna's creation, let me be a vessel of your peace, chanting the holy name touch your heart. Very deep feeling. Gurudeva Krishna's creation. Let me be a vessel of your peace. Chanting holy name into relation. Only then all my fancies cease. Gurudeva, I'm falling in love. Without your grace, useless am I. Waves of tears would surely flow. Without your love, I soon would die. Gurudeva, I'm falling in love. Without your grace, useless am I. Waves of tears surely flow. Without your love, I soon would die. Gurudeva, I'm falling in love. Without your grace, useless am I. Waves of tears would surely flow. Without your love, I soon would die. Just one more verse. Prayer by Srila, great-great-grandfather Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Gurudev, your mercy please bestow this wretched sinner forever to save. You're a Swami, I'm just a crow. Keep me out your beloved slave. Gurudev, your sweet mercy please bestow this wretched sinner forever to sing. You're a swan, I'm just a girl. Keep me out your beloved slave. Okay, you all know this next verse. Hare Krishna, chant, chant. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please call out now. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Wow, you guys really have great feelings. I'm just going to tell one quick story. I don't have many stories. Probably some of you have heard this before, but it bears repeating. My experience, 1974, I was serving at New Vrindavan, and if you've been there, New Vrindavan stretches out over thousands of acres, this valley, that valley, down this road. I had some devotee friends from Atlanta come there a while ago, and they said, "Can you show us around?" We drove for 4 hours on New Vrindavan property. Really don't, you may see the temple, maybe you see the barn, you see Prabhupada's palace. But there's, it's extensive, there's field crops and houses and little communities and little clusters of devotees living together on the land in different areas. And in those days, most of the devotees lived at what's called the Hulaban. And then 2 miles up the road along the ridge was where Srila Prabhupada's palace is now. It wasn't there then. And then past the palace down below is where the Radha Chandra's temple is now. That wasn't there. We just purchased that land, and there was one little house, a little farmhouse, and the people had sold their land and the house to us. So we called it the Grey House. That was the best thing we had, so Srila Prabhupada stayed there. But it was 2 miles from where most of the other devotees were, and in those days there was some redneck, hillbilly neighbors, a lot of our neighbors liked us. Some of them were, a little bit doubtful about these strange people moving in there. And sometimes during the night they'd come and pick up a truck or two would come rolling through dirt roads of the community, and they'd be shooting shotguns in the air, stuff like that. It was like in some detectives. We had one motorcycle gang come in the middle of the morning program, tear up the temple and break the altar. It was, so there was didn't happen every day, but it happened, and we were there for a long time. So Srila Prabhupada was at this house that was kind of remote. So they used to figure out where I do the least damage. So I was given the service of guarding. You know this story, right? Yeah, guarding Srila Prabhupada's house. Of course, ridiculous trying to protect Prabhupada, he's protecting us, but that's my service. I would stand out in front of the house from 9 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock in the morning. He gave me a shotgun, 38 pistols, in front of this. Now those days already, in 1974, there were thousands of devotees. You didn't get to go see probably if it was a darshan, or maybe if you were a sannyasi or a GBC or a temple president, you would actually go in. But I was just a rank and file devotee. I was a bhakta, and I didn't actually go in the house, but I was out in front. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, I would see the light go on in Prabhupada's bedroom, and then I could hear Prabhupada's voice. And I was thinking, oh, he's listening to a Prabhupada tape. No, that's Prabhupada translating. He's actually speaking and translating into the dictaphone, So I could hear him. And then it started to rain. So the house was on the road, and there was a driveway going down, and below the house there was a garage. So, I wouldn't stand out in the rain. I went down the road, opened up the garage door, and was standing inside the garage doing my service. Prabhupada came in. I didn't know Prabhupada could come down through the house right down next to me. I turned around, there was Srila Prabhupada. Oh, Prabhupada! What do you do? What do you do? Off probation, please. Oh, Prabhupada, how can I serve you? Right? What do you say? How can I serve you? Right? That sounds good. So Prabhupada went like this. He does. You can go where I won't go. Now, I had hitchhiked in Vrindavan. At that time, I'd lost my wallet. I had no money. I'd been there for a few months. I didn't even have 2 boots that matched. I had a red boot and a black boot, baling twine. I didn't have any means or any desire to go anywhere. And he said to me, you can go where I won't go. How can I serve you? Now, Prabhupada had just flown from Tokyo to San Francisco to Los Angeles to Dallas to Chicago to New Orleans to New York to Pittsburgh. Then he was going back to New York, and he was flying away to London. He's traveling all over the planet, and he says to me, you can go where I won't go. I was like, where won't you go? To the future. To the future. What does he want me to build a time machine? What the heck? And how you treat the people there, you show them how Krishna loves them. So that was 51 years ago. And here we are. We take care of distributing Krishna's prasadam to the homeless people in the street. I hope that's a way of showing people to love how we love them. And I said to when he said that, you can go to the future and show people how, I just closed my eyes like this. What? When I opened my eyes, he was gone. He just laid that on me and split. He went upstairs quietly, just like just disappeared like in a puff of smoke. And at one time, of course, I was there, supposed to be next to him on different times as his security guard or something, you know. I asked him, Prabhupada, I have no love. Come on. You tell us do this with love, you know. He said, if you love me, do what I tell you. Offer to me and I will offer to Krishna. Guru has love. So we have that instruction. It's actually for everyone. And I guess Dr. Shik, I'll call you back when the temple. Okay, I'll call you back one day. So, yeah. We all have that instruction. Now you've heard it. You can go where I won't go. And how you show you love me. Show the people there how Krishna loves them. We'll do one more Hare Krishna just to end this. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Everyone. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Yeah, Krishna Grace to show Prabhupada. Please excuse me, I have to go. Thank you very much.
Prabhupada ki. Grace Hari Pushpanjali ki. Going into the future and showing people how Krishna loves them ki. Okay. Yes, we're very, very blessed and fortunate to have both of these wonderful souls with us. And some other devotees approached me and they would like to make some offerings and make an offering. We have Gaur Kumar Prabhu. I'd like to share an offering, please.
ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Dear Srila Prabhupada, at your birth ceremony, an astrologer calculated your horoscope and predicted he will one day be a great sadhu who will cross the ocean at the age of 70 and open 108 temples. Such a prediction is truly phenomenal in all respects. In the year 1965, you told Mr. Rubin, a Turkish subway conductor you met on a New York park bench, there are temples and books. These are existing. They are there, but time is separating us from them. In Seattle Temple many years later, the same subway conductor once came to the temple and on seeing your murti on the Vyasasana, spoke very emotionally, recalling this particular meeting with you. By your kind mercy, his initial skepticism had been turned into a joyful experience. Every year at the New York Rath Yatra festival, I am reminded with tears in my eyes how, as a small lad, you wanted to visit Jagannath Puri, and with the help of your father Gaur Mohan, a miniature Rath Yatra cart was obtained, and Jagannath deities were modeled exactly like those in Puri. For many days, the pastime was enacted, attracting the participation of friends and family and other children of the neighborhood. This childhood pastime anticipated the day when you would initiate Rath Yatra festivals in numerous cities worldwide. Happened today also. Every time I drive in Lorry, in East Village of Manhattan, I'm reminded how Lord Nityananda, on the order of Lord Chaitanya, approached the most fallen and sinful Jagai and Madai, and even though they injured him, he still gave them the highest blessing, love of Krishna. You, Srila Prabhupada, went to the degraded area of the world, the New York City slums, and distributed the message of love of Krishna, despite being often misunderstood, chased by a drug-crazed hippie, robbed of your possessions, and forced to live day to day without any fixed residence. Every time I read your books, I'm reminded of Srila Vyasadeva, who made the vast knowledge contained therein accessible to the people of Kali Yuga. He completed his work by presenting Srimad Bhagavatam. How is it possible to begin to understand this great literature without your Bhaktivedanta purports? You are rightly known as Veda Vyas of the 20th century because you translated more than 80 books of knowledge and wrote detailed explanations of the text. During the last year, your glories have manifested more in my own heart. While reading the Leelamrit, especially the section about your days at 26 Second Avenue, and during the restoration project of 26 Second Avenue, I realized more and more the challenges you faced there and the sublime dexterity with which you tackled those challenges. To restore this temple was a monumental responsibility placed upon us, for which we had no qualification. I always remember one pastime when you entrusted responsibility to one of your disciples who humbly admitted, "I don't trust myself, Srila Prabhupada." With great compassion, you asked him, "Do you trust me?" When he replied yes, you emphatically and endearingly assured him, "Then I trust you. So trust yourself because you trust me." Srila Prabhupada, your trust in us is the basis of our trust in ourselves. But still, the question begs itself, how could you trust us? How could you trust us? My little understanding is that you trusted us because you trusted Krishna and you saw us as souls sent to you by him. You mentioned that you saw your disciples as representatives of your spiritual master. You had the faith that the Lord will send souls in each generation to keep the bhakti legacy alive. And I pray with trust in your trust in Krishna that he makes us worthy of your trust. By your trust, we were able to restore 1966 and welcome you again back to 26 Second Avenue, the very place where you sowed the first seeds of Krishna consciousness in the West. With every stroke of paint, every tile replaced, and every painting preserved, my heart was praying only that the small effort could in some way please you and bring you happiness. In this project, it was a true joy and privilege to serve your sincere disciples, His Grace Adidev Prabhu, His Grace Vamandev Prabhu, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and His Grace Yadanath Prabhu. Especially Yadanath Prabhu, who has served this project for over 2 decades, giving his very life and soul to preserve and protect your legacy at 26 Second Avenue. Alongside the heartfelt dedication of Jayanitai Prabhu, Anantacharya Prabhu and Venu Madhuri were all here, this offering is very close to coming to fruition. Now so many pilgrims are coming daily to the sacred place, experiencing what it might have been like to sit before you at 26th Avenue in 1966. To see their faces lit up with joy and devotion makes me feel that somehow you are still personally present here, as some of you mentioned, touching hearts as you always. I know I have no qualification, but I am so grateful that you allowed me to be an instrument in this humble offering of restoration. It is only by your mercy that anything is possible. So please let me always remain engaged in your service and never forget that everything we do is meant only to glorify you and your matchless gift to the world. Your insignificant servant, Lord Maras.
His Grace Guru Kumar Prabhu ki. For those of you who don't know, Guru Kumar Prabhu is the president of 26th Avenue Matchless Gifts Project, and by his amazing and intense endeavor, so many wonderful things are happening there. So I'd like to thank you, Guru Kumar Prabhu. So also, Mother Glory, who specifically came to me and asked to read, was Mother Venu Madhuri, who is here, I believe. Would you like to come forward and read?
My dear grandfather, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. I stand before you utterly penniless, flat broke in the currency required to repay my eternal debt to you. I am literally a beggar, without the appropriate parentage, education, culture, language, etiquette, entirely unqualified to be in your spotless association. The only silver lining in this hopeless situation is that my abject poverty and genuine ignorance allows me to feel more deeply your causeless mercy, which surges through you naturally, forcefully, gracefully, from the glorious parampara directly back to the source of all sources, the Lord Himself. Before I met you through your devotees, your books, your incisive purports, your disciples, your instructions, I was so lost. I had barked up so many spiritual trees to no avail. Episcopal ministers, Buddhist nuns, Greek philosophers, looking for the being of being, looking for a way to conduct myself, to serve, to dedicate my life. Then one day I was at the Bhakti Center, unknowingly taking part in a stealth Bhakti outreach mission posing as a yoga class, where the teacher would routinely hand out your Bhagavad Gita as it is, and ask a volunteer to open the book randomly and read a sentence or two. The teacher, who was Jai Giridhari, Aribo, the teacher would tell us that even holding the book in our hands would change our lives. Yeah, right, said the cynical longtime East Village resident in me. Well, here I am. Om Ganya Timarandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya, Chakshu Unchuran Militam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We normally translate this as I was born in the darkest ignorance and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. I read recently that the literal translation is that the spiritual master uses a certain kind of stick with medicine on it that formerly was poked under the eyelids to remove cataracts from the eyes. This is more what it feels like, what you have done in my life, my dear spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. You are an expert surgeon whose pointed words and exquisitely sharp example slice away quickly layer after layer of gross misconception, misguided conditionings, false philosophies, incomplete religions, and all manner of nonsense until we are in a place where we can see for ourselves the truth, and the flame is lit enough in our feeble hearts that we can begin to walk again like stumbling toddlers. Dear Srila Prabhupada, I genuinely love you so much and feel the warmth of your well-wishing friendship and noble humanity. At the same time, you are as good as God. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for saving me from impersonalism and voidism. Thank you for setting me up on my own two spiritual baby feet, and for sending me a living guru who is so expertly and nicely carrying your torch now. I can never ever repay you. Hare Krishna.
And Grace Vena Madhuri ki.
Aye.
Okay, so we have come to the end of my list. And now we'd like to ask if anyone would like to volunteer to make an offering. Actually, Vasudev said he would like to, but I'm not sure if he might be chanting Gayatri somewhere. Yeah. Maybe any of our two. Bhakti Devi? Okay. I was just going to ask Sundarnath Prabhu or Gorsharad Prabhu if either of them would like to read an offering. He is a gentleman and he is saying ladies first, so. Okay.
Om Agyanat Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurudamaya Tasmai Shri Gurudevaya Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanivadi Pastyatya Vishitaya. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories unto you on this most auspicious occasion of your appearance. I don't often write you an offering because words escape me. Even now, I struggle with what to say, how to express my love, my gratitude, my indebtedness. There just don't seem to be the right words in the English language. Thank you just doesn't cut it. How can we just say thank you after you risked your life for us multiple times to save us from our material paradigms and to bring us a philosophy so wild, so different, the philosophy that would save our lives? How can we just say thank you? Srila Prabhupada, you are my hero. I sit here in my apartment in New York City, often still baffled that I live here. This is a tough city. Everything is expensive, there's so much homelessness and crime, and the modes of passion and ignorance are abundant. And I'm here almost 60 years after you were here, and there have been so many improvements since that time. Each time I think of you coming here alone, struggling to make a few devotees, I can't wrap my head around it. I have the privilege of now regularly walking the same streets as you, in the Lower East Side in particular, and it still doesn't feel real that this is the birthplace of your ISKCON. This is the city where you struggled, where you finally found a few sincere students, and where everything started. My life is you. My entire life is centered around trying to be a Krishna-conscious devotee. Without Krishna consciousness, I shudder to think where I would be. Thank you for writing volumes of books for us to study. Thank you for showing us the temporality and the absurdity of our material paradigms. Thank you for challenging us to think deeper, to think independently and critically, to wake up. Thank you for giving us a lens through which to understand the world and all of its insanity. Thank you for building temples where we can worship and try to get to know Lord Sri Krishna. Thank you for your humor, your softness, your kindness. Thank you for teaching us how to be humans, how to eat, how to dress, how to talk, how to think, how to cook, how to clean, literally everything. Thank you for giving us an international community and family. Thank you for giving me my Diksha and my Shiksha gurus. Thank you for giving me my husband. Thank you for giving me service that has defined my life. Thank you for introducing me to Radha Shyam Sundar. Srila Prabhupada, I can go on and on and on. I pray that you accept me as your floundering granddaughter. I pray that I live my life in such a way as to please you. I pray you allow me to be a missionary for you, at work, in writing, in speaking, in every way that you think I can be useful. I pray you accept my small ways of loving you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for shaping my entire life. Without you, I would be nobody. I love you so much. Happy 129th Appearance Day, my beloved spiritual grandfather, Srila Prabhupada. Your servant's aspiring servant, Brother Bhakti Vidyas.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Praise Radha Bhakti Devi ki jai. Srila.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, I was recently reading from the Lilamrita, the Dream Come True chapter, where how you struggle to print the 3 volumes of Bhagavatam. This is 1962. And then you are mentioning your own words, you are telling, I planned that I must go to America. Generally, they go to London, but I did not want to go to London. I was simply thinking how to go to New York. I was scheming whether I shall go this way through Tokyo, Japan, or that way, which way is cheaper. That was my proposal, and I was targeting to New York always. Sometimes I was dreaming that I have come to New York. So this is, you said these words, but also in the same chapter it's mentioned, your ledger, you are maintaining a ledger where your balance on the ledger was at that time 130 rupees, and you wanted to go to Gorakhpur to secure funds to meet this Podar, Mr. Podar of Gorakhpur Press, to secure funds to print the first volume of Bhagavatam. And then you are writing in your ledger that after that trip, the ledger has gone, the money in the ledger, you wrote that 57 rupees you had. So with that meager amounts, you managed to somehow print the 3 volumes of Bhagavatam. It took more than 3 years to secure funds to print this Bhagavatam. And then how, without any real planning, suddenly Prabhupada, you saw that how a letter came from Ministry of External Affairs that you are cleared to go to America. And then you went and inquired how, in a passing, you have met one Agarwal in Mathura, and then you said that you want to go to America, and then he arranged to his son an invitation letter, and you took this as a cue, and then you just went to Bombay and then got so many clearances, met Sumati Murarji, and made this whole arduous travel to America, where you didn't know, you wrote that how to go left or right when you got down from the boat Chaladuta. So all these struggles in this show how much you are dedicated to serve your spiritual master, in spite of so many advising you not to go to America, not to write this Bhagavatam settles, Bhagavatam also, because you had a grand plan of writing 60 volume Bhagavatam, and so many of all these odds, you just dedicated and just you focus on how to just please your spiritual master. I pray that I get a drop of the ocean of dedication you have.
We won't have so much time left before the RT. I would like to ask one person in particular whom I know will be departing from our association soon, and I noticed that she's here, and that's Bhakti Doni. So I wondered if you would like to say something to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah? Please come and speak something.
Thank you so much for telling me to make a offering. I definitely short of words because of my own ignorance and incompetence. I also really resonate with what Bhakti Mataji said. A simple thank you doesn't really cut it, and I just feel tremendous gratitude coming from a country that I was born and raised in China, so I never heard about Krishna or Prabhupada or Hare Krishna or the Bhagavad Gita. And even a person like me could have that fortune to be exposed to such saving, matchless gift. I just feel tremendous gratitude. And I found Bhakti at one of the lowest points of my life. Throughout the journey, when I look back, I found nothing was a coincidence. From my last year of college, I literally had senioritis. I was lost of what my future would be, and I was scared of going back to China, where there wasn't a lot of freedom to explore what's the true meaning of life. Coming to America, I was thinking about, now I'm gonna be free, I'm gonna have the American dream, and I'll be happy by having a lot of material things. But later I realized that's not the answer. After 5 years studying in America, I was as lost as before. I was like, what is the goal of life? That's the time actually I found out about Bhakti. And along the way, Krishna's arrangement, I met a real devotee in person in North Carolina, where I went to grad school. And from there, I came to New York, a city that I've never wanted to live in. But I knew very clearly in my heart that my Gurudev, Rana's March, and Prabhupada wanted me to come here. So I came, and I was deeply humbled and cannot grasp an ounce of your compassion, because it's literally a city that I still don't want to live in. There's so much crime, so much material sense gratification, but at the same time, it just shows such compassion that you have to, no matter how fallen a place can be, a people can be, you're such saintly personality to come to the city, the headquarters Maya, to start the ISKCON. So I'm so glad I actually came to New York City, because I now can say I can understand just 1% better of your compassion, of your humility. And I don't know where Krishna is taking me next, but I am so grateful to have met so many beautiful, dedicated, sincere souls along the way in New York City and North Carolina. And I just pray and hope that wherever I go, there will be devotees, there will be chanting of the Maha Mantra, and please humbly request that you can continue to engage me in any service that you think I can do. And I will pray and hope that I can be better and qualified enough to be your granddaughter someday. And I pray that I can somehow either be an instrument in your glorious Sankirtan movement. Thank you so much.
So we're going to have the arti in just one moment, but I would just like to request all the devotees here to please give their blessings to Bhakti Gomi, because she will be departing from New York and going back to possibly China or somewhere else. But as she just prayed that wherever she goes, she's engaged in service. So all the devotees here can please give her their blessings, because she's such an ecstatic and dynamic and competent and capable young lady, really so enthusiastic to serve the Lord. So, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So now we'll have for arti. So everyone can please stand. And you can also take darshan of this beautiful cake that was, you'll notice it's a replica. Hopefully not an exact replica of Mouse's gifts. Raj Lakshmi Devi, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotra Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON founder Acharya, BBD founder Acharya, Savior of the whole world, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya